Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, grade 2. How are you all doing? Great. That's very good. Welcome to your social studies class. Today we will be taking the first lesson of week number 8, right? So we have covered so many topics, so many things about our society, about yes, related to society and our environment in week 7, right? So now in today's class we will be discussing a new topic, something which is new. The topic or the unit that we were covering in the last week was that we are discussing things about earth and our environment, right? So for that we talked about the natural resources, we talk about the natural and man-made environment, right? We talked about what is the difference between both of them, and then we also talk about what are the basic human needs of a body, right? Okay, now in today's class we will discuss the resources in detail. So the very first or the basic need among the basic needs of the body. uh, okay, tell me, what were the basic needs? Air, water, and food, right? So today the basic need or the resource that we will be discussing is water. Okay, we will discuss water in detail, that what are the resources of water, how do we get it, what are types of water, what are the two how these two types are different, then what are different types of water in that water, what are the water bodies, in which forms it exists, or what do we call them as, then what is the characteristics of those types, right? So let's start with the water. Water is the basic need of human body. All of us need water, right? And not only for drinking but for washing, for cleaning, cooking, bathing, and so many other purposes. So without water there is no life, we cannot live without it, right? So before discussing things, let's first start with the reading of your book. I want all of you to open your book, page number 32. This is 32 page, and the topic is water, right? So water is very important for all kinds of life on earth. There are two kinds of water. Now there are two kinds. The first one is fresh water and the second one is sea water, right? All animals drink fresh water. Humans also use fresh water for cooking, washing, and growing crops and plants. Now why there are two kinds of water? Because we can use the fresh one or the first one for drinking, cooking, bathing, but the second kind of water, which is sea water, we cannot use it for drinking, washing, and for crops, for growing crops and plants. Why? Because it's very salty, right? The huge amount of salt in the sea water does not allow it to fit, it is not fit for our health. Now, the water found in the seas and oceans is salty. It cannot be used for drinking or growing crops and plants, right? Okay, now look at the very first water body, which is the sea. The sea or ocean is a huge body of water. Rivers run into the seas and oceans. All of the rivers they combine and then they together make up a sea or an ocean. When fresh water from rivers run into the sea, it also becomes salty. And the water which is coming from rivers, when they come and enters into the water of sea, it also turns into salty. So now we can no longer use it, right? Mariam has collected some pictures showing places where fresh water is found. Now we will discuss the fresh water in great detail in our tomorrow's class. On today's class, our focus would be on sea. What is the sea, and what are the characteristics of its water, and why can't we drink it, or why can't we use it for normal purposes? Okay, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to share the picture with you. Okay, there are different pictures of water bodies, and then you will we will learn about them. All right. Okay, so the very first thing is that what are different resources of water, right? So let's quickly revise that. What are different sources? So show me a thumbs up if the screen is visible to you. Is it or not? It is. Okay, great. Okay, now we are talking about water resources. So there are two kinds of water found on earth. The first one is fresh water, or the water that people can drink. and which contain little salt, right? And then we have salt water or sea water, the water in oceans, which contains a higher concentration of dissolved salt, and you cannot use it for drinking and for cooking purposes or for washing, right? So most humans uses for water such as drinking and agriculture, they require fresh water for that. We cannot depend on salt water or sea water, which comes from sea, for our normal routine works or for drinking, for washing and cooking, right? Now, this is there is this picture in which there is a glass and a person is pouring water in it. This is fresh water, right? Why? Because we use it for drinking purpose. Now look at this next picture. It's a sea, right? It's a sea, and the water over there is salty. Now, today in today's class, we will just be discussing what are the characteristics of sea water, right? So, I'm going to tell you the characteristics of it. Let's discuss them in great detail. The very first thing, which is about seawater, is that the seawater contains a lot of salt, a huge amount of salt. So that is why we cannot drink it. It's basically, if we discuss about the sea and other types of water bodies, a sea is a large body of water, right? How many? Tell me, how many of you have visited the sea in Pakistan, the Karachi Sea? Yes, how many of you have visited it? Okay, very few people have visited, but you might have seen the pictures of it on television and in a movie somewhere, right? So it's a very huge or large body of water, which is, but sea is smaller than an ocean. On the top, okay, let's make a map over there. On the top comes an ocean. Ocean is bigger than a sea. Then comes a sea. Then comes rivers. Then we have streams, then we have lakes, and etc etc, right? But sea is a large body. Sea is greater or larger than all of these, but it is smaller than ocean, right? Now, its salty water may be partially or completely enclosed by land, and aside from functioning as the interconnected system, sea basically function as an interconnected system of oceans, seas, and all other essentials, right? Which are the cycles of water from which, like, let's say, all of the rivers which are running in Pakistan, their water, where they together come into the sea, right? So, the water that we have in sea, it basically comes from all of the rivers. All of the rivers, they run, and their water collectively comes in a sea. And in sea, we have a huge amount of salt. So the when the river water enters into the sea, it also becomes salty, and then we cannot drink it more anymore. We cannot use it for the normal purposes, right? Now, let's say if there is sea in Karachi, but the people living over there, they don't use that sea water for drinking, for washing, cooking, right? They use fresh water. And what are the resources of fresh water? All other things except sea and ocean, all other types of water, which are rivers, streams, lakes, all of these that we will be discussing in tomorrow's class, all of these are the freshwater resources or rain and all that, right? And through this we get water which is fresh, and we use it for all other or human to fulfill all of our needs. And this water, why we are dependent on this water? Because this, yes, you know what, there is salt in fresh water as well, but the quantity is very less as compared to the sea water. If some of you have visited this, or if you get a chance to visit the Karachi, you must go to the sea and try to drink it. You know, if the water is not clean over there, because the people who visit the sea and who live there, they don't bother about its cleanliness. Now people throw garbage, the people whoever who visited it, they throw everything whatever they eat or their wrappers in the water, right? So the sea is not clean anymore. But if you want to drink, if you just want to taste it, you can taste that small part of it which is very salty, right? So we cannot use it for normal purposes. Or let's say, if you talk about the fresh water which is in your home, which you use for drinking the water, does it taste like salty? Do you when you are drinking it, do you feel like the salt is added in it? No, right? It's very it has no taste basically, right? But yes, there is a small amount of salt in it, which is natural, but we cannot, but this is, the quantity is very low that we cannot feel it, right? It looks like tasteless. But sometimes when we visit different places, the water, the taste of the water is a bit changed, right? So what is that basically? That the nutrients which are in that, their quantity when varies, we found the taste of the water a bit different. But the sea water is totally a different thing, in which there is huge amount of salt, right? Now I'm going to show you a picture of Arabian Sea, the sea in Karachi, and you might have get the idea. You might have the idea. All of you have the idea that the people who are in Karachi, and the people who visit basically Karachi from different areas of Pakistan, they don't care about its cleanliness. They don't care about the the safety of it, and so that is why the area is basically, or the sea is getting very very dirty, and it is not good. Previously it was very good, the water was very clean, but now if you just see the pictures of it, you might have observed that the water is no more clean, right? So but the steps that we can take on our own is that whenever you visit, or whenever you some of your relative or your friend is visiting Karachi, do advise them that please do not throw the garbage into that water, because it is our responsibility to clean it, right? Or to keep it neat and clean, so that we can, even if you are not using it for drinking purposes, even if you are just using it for enjoying, for visiting, the water should be neat and clean. And this is the great gift to us, that we Pakistanis have a sea, right? Not every country have a sea. So I'm going to show you some of the pictures of Karachi Sea. Okay. Okay, I'm sharing the screen. This is the very first picture of Karachi. And can you see that there are a lot of people? People used to visit this, right? The seaside. And there is this camel. People do ride camels. Then you have different food stalls over there. Then people, a lot of people are in the water. Some of them are swimming, and children are playing, right? So this picture is describing a lot of things over there. Now let's look at this next picture. This is also from the Karachi, and yeah, there are, this picture is showing a lot of dead fishes. And if you can see that the sea water is not clean anymore, and because of the dirt and because of the garbage which people throw in it, the fishes are even dying, right? So, and there is a huge number of dead fishes, and this also creates smell over there as well. Now, but what you want to observe is that it's a huge water body. Can you see that wherever you can see, there is water, right? So water, the water body is very great, very big. Now this is another picture. This may be a family trip. The whole family is there. People are holding cameras as well. They took pictures. Children are playing. Parents are holding children hand, because so that they don't fell into the water, right? But it's very dangerous to go inside that, because you might not know that when the sea gets angry, right? So you should be very careful. Yes, if you want to visit it, you should see it by standing at a proper distance. This is not good to enter into the water, right? Okay, class. So we in today's class, what we discussed, we talked about what are two kinds of water. So we discussed that the first one is fresh water and the second one is salty or seawater, and we have discussed only the seawater. And in tomorrow's class, we will talk about what are different types of fresh water, what are different resources of it, and why do we use them for drinking and other purposes, right? And then we will be doing the book exercise as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the classes. Do take care of, all of the blessings that we have are the gifts, the great gifts of Allah. So why do I put emphasis on each and everything? Why do I keep on advising you to take care of the things that we have in Pakistan? Like I told you, to please very very careful whenever you visit any sea, not only for Karachi Sea, even if you visit a lake or river, anything, do not throw the wrappers of the food that you eat, or in the water, because it's not good. You might be visiting it for a few hours, but it will be in your Yes, this is your country, this is your homeland, and this is your responsibility to take care of that. Even if you observe somebody else throwing garbage or wrappers over there, please advise them to not do this, because this is your country. Okay, so take care. I'll be seeing you in the next class. Do share this video with others because it's free learning. Allah Hafiz.